My dad told me I was too ugly to find a husband, so I brought someone special to dinner. Dad never held back when it came to my looks. Every time I came downstairs wearing makeup, he'd shake his head and say, "All that effort for what? You can't paint over ugly." When I turned 16 and started talking about maybe going to prom, he laughed and said, "Save your money. Nobody's asking you anyway." The worst part was how casual he was about it, like he was just stating facts about the weather. Mom never said anything when he made these comments. She'd just get this uncomfortable look and change the subject to homework or chores. My little brother Ethan would roll his eyes, but he was only 13 and more interested in his video games than family drama. Dad worked construction and came home every night complaining about his back, his boss, or how expensive everything was getting. But he always had energy to comment on my appearance. "You inherited your grandmother's nose," he'd say during dinner. Poor girl. At least she found someone desperate enough. When I started my senior year and mentioned maybe going to college, he scoffed. "What's the point? You'll just end up pregnant and dropped out anyway. Might as well learn to cook now." The breaking point came 3 weeks before graduation. I'd been accepted to the community college and gotten a partial scholarship for my grades. I was so excited I printed out the letter and left it on the kitchen table for everyone to see. When Dad got home and saw it, he didn't even congratulate me. Instead, he looked at me and said, "College won't fix your face. You're still going to be too ugly to find a husband. Better learn a trade that doesn't require dealing with people." That night, I called my friend Jake from chemistry class. We'd been lab partners all semester, and he was one of those guys who was genuinely nice to everyone. He never made me feel weird or ugly like other guys did. "Want to help me prove my dad wrong about something?" I asked him. He didn't even ask what it was before saying yes. The plan was simple. Jake would come to Sunday dinner and pretend to be my boyfriend. I coached him on little details about our fake relationship. We'd been dating for 2 months, met in chemistry class, and he was planning to study engineering at the state university. Jake was actually really good looking, played soccer, and had this confidence that made everything seem easy. Sunday came, and I spent extra time getting ready. Not because I thought it would make me pretty, but because I wanted Dad to see I'd made an effort. Jake showed up right on time wearing khakis and a button-down shirt, carrying flowers for Mom like I'd suggested. When I introduced him as my boyfriend, Dad's face went completely blank. During dinner, Jake was perfect. He complimented Mom's cooking, asked Dad about his construction work, and even played video games with Ethan afterward. He held my hand at the table and called me beautiful twice, once when he thought Dad was listening. Every time Dad tried to make one of his usual comments about my appearance, Jake would jump in with something positive. "I love how Jenna always knows exactly what she wants," Jake said when Dad mentioned I was too picky about restaurants. "She has great taste." When Dad brought up my unfortunate features, Jake looked genuinely confused and said, "Are we talking about the same person? I think she's gorgeous." The kicker came when Jake was leaving. He kissed my cheek in front of everyone and said, "See you tomorrow, beautiful." After his car pulled away, I found Dad standing in the kitchen looking completely lost. "Where'd you find him?" he asked quietly. "Chemistry class," I said. "Turns out some people actually think I'm worth dating." Dad nodded slowly, not meeting my eyes. He seems like a good kid. The next morning at breakfast, Dad was different. Instead of his usual comment about my hair or clothes, he asked if I wanted him to drive me to school. "Jake's picking me up," I said. Dad nodded and went back to his coffee. Jake and I kept up the fake relationship for 3 more weeks until graduation. He was such a good sport about it that we actually became real friends.